Jared, my friend, you are awesome. Thank you so much for having me here. Okay, folks, we're going to go fast. We're going to go fierce. We might even live some real-time nightmares to see how the technology holds up. True story. Brand new computer. It rebooted 10 minutes ago with an unknown error. Gotta love it, right? That's what it's all about. Okay, so at least you know we're live, unscripted. That's right, the classic 404. Oh my God. Okay, let's have some fun. Okay, so I have been around for a while. You may not know this, but the white hair comes 100% organically, and it's because I have been stressed to all hell. I have seen so many economic downturns. I have been around for the dot-com crash. Hell, folks, I'm not making this up. I started marketing before the internet was available to corporate America. That's right. I used to actually do so much direct mail, expensive advertising. The world has changed. It has changed dramatically. Like, wow. And it's changing again. And it's changing so much that it's actually scaring the hell out of many marketers. So we're going to have some fun with that today. We're going to talk about the issues. We're talking about what you can do to overcome it and turn this nightmare into a dream opportunity. How's that? I'm going to go as many cliches as I can do. So without any delays, because I got a lot of content, we got a timeline. Let's get through this. Okay, so here we go. Let's talk about the state of marketing. Okay, it's just you and I. We're sitting here having a chat. One marketer to another, one revenue leader to another. Like, what's going on, right? Can we be honest with one another? Let me tell you right now, this is a very profound, bold statement. The current economy sucks. Boom, mic drop. I can walk away. You will all agree with me. That's the state we're in. That quote is attributed to me, although I do not think I'm alone when I say that. So that's the setup. That's the setup we find ourselves in right now. The current economy sucks. And it's true, right? Because we've all seen the following. Tell me in the chat if you've seen this, all right? Have you seen you or your colleagues or your peers in the industry being laid off? Have you seen incredible revenue leaders, marketers coming and telling you, yeah, I got the hook? I had one the other day come to me and said, I made it until the 4th round of layoffs. They were so excited. 4 rounds. That's actually a testament of how good they are. All right, we're seeing budgets slash, and I'm going to show you some stats on that. And here's the thing. Tell me if you're seeing this. It is blowing the mind of investors, founders, leaders out there who are heavily invested in the companies because they made forecasts a year ago. And even though the economy's going down, they don't want to hear your excuses. They don't want to hear it. They just want you to hit the numbers, right? No matter what it costs. Even though we all know nobody's responding right now like they did a year ago or 2 years ago. It's crazy. So it is stressful. It is anxiety inducing. It is hell. Let's go into it. All right. So here's what we know. Glorified, feel good statement. Marketers are being pressured now to drive more revenue on less budget with fewer people. That sets the stage. I think you would all agree with that. Here's some context, some numbers from Gartner. All right, how much budget do we have available? And ironically, you saw post-COVID, there was a reaction to that. It dropped to 6.4% of revenue. But then last year, we started feeling good. We're coming out of this, and it came up. And this year, it's going back down. Now, this number, if I recall, is from the first part of the year. So I think it's gone down even further than that. So the revenues are going hard, all right? In fact, I talked to an event organizer the other day, and they're having an event coming up next month. And their comment to me was, thank goodness I booked all my major sponsors in the first half of the year because they would have no money to be my sponsor right now. That's an honest to God, brilliant statement. So budgets are down for you, but you're still expected to do stuff, right? Sam Jacobs is with Pavilion. Pavilion is an additional community, just like Rev Genius is. Although, of course, we all know I love Rev Genius most of all. Jared, he's a rock star. But what they do is they do a monthly kind of survey of where things are going month over month over month. So Sam Jacobs, which is basically Jared, but at Pavilion, he made 2 posts recently, which I felt like sharing. The one post said, despite what the GDP numbers say, tech has been in a recession since Q2 of 2022. I have talked to so many executives that are questioning themselves, that have had their confidence shaken, that are frustrated by their decision making. It's taking a serious toll on people. And the answer is, it is. I'm watching people say this is the hardest year of my life. He said the same thing. Then a couple of days later, he said this: net headcount at startups has fallen in 6 of the last 7 months. And while the volume of layoffs is no longer rising, it hasn't yet subsided. In fact, total hiring for B2B SaaS has fallen 70% since Q1 2022. So that kind of sets the stage. Budget's sucky. All right. So what does this mean? This means we have less money, we have less resources. But as I said, we still need to hit that revenue. But the challenge is traditional marketing, what we've always done, is no longer working. So what are we supposed to do now? You see how the nightmare is starting to form and how we marketers are getting stressed out. Why you see quotes like what Sam just said. This is what every marketing revenue leader is going through right now. All right. So let's look a little more. This came from Gartner in May 2023, which is saying this, okay? When asked, how are you investing? What's changed? What are you increasing in 2023 or 2022? And what are you decreasing? Check this out. They're saying search advertising, they could Google pay-per-click, is the biggest, it is the biggest decrease in spend, down 26%. Now that actually makes sense if you think about it, because we have less budget. There's only so many major spends that you can invest in that cost a lot of money that you can cut back on quickly. Events being one, especially live trade shows, Google ad, search marketing. So search marketing coming down like a rock. But what's going up? Huge social advertising. All right. So Facebook, LinkedIn. All right. Digital advertising with the video. Like I said, I sound like an old guy with the video, maybe on the Facebook. Influencer marketing. These are like 50% or more kind of in major investments. Why? It's a reaction, folks. It's a reaction. Now, this came from HubSpot's State of Marketing Trends. Check out what they're saying here. Top marketing channels, all right? So still content is still like huge. So they're talking about blogs, it could be ebooks, what have you, social media shopping tools, influencer marketing. 90% of marketers are using short form video. This is your top stuff, all right? 56% of marketers are going to go into TikTok, video, social. By the way, everything I just said there doesn't cost a damn thing other than maybe some advertising if you're doing it on a social media. All right. So what else do we know here? We know video is the most popular effective media format for the 4th year in a row. All right. And check this stat out. What's new in marketing? 25%. This is like 1 in 4 marketers, all right, are planning to use interviews for the first time. Okay, let that sink in. Why is this the first time a marketer is interviewing? I got to ask you that question. Why? Doesn't that like go, what the hell? Okay, but hey, that's HubSpot. That's their data. They go on. Another great slide here from HubSpot. Emerging marketing trends and plans for 2023. Again, this is a reaction. Remember, Sam said it's been a desert. It's been hell since Q2 2022. So what you're seeing here is a reaction to those changes and why it's a nightmare for us. All right. Which marketing trend has the highest ROI? In other words, if our budgets have dropped, you saw the stats there. All right. We're going to look at, and you saw the cuts in search. So where can we invest? Maybe it doesn't cost a lot. That's going to have a big ROI. Well, short form video through the roof. Influencer marketing, way more. Social media and social media DMs. That's really interesting, right? The DMs aspect, okay? What are people leveraging? Again, they're leveraging that content. What else do we do? Creating content, using social media, influencer marketing, virtual events, like we're seeing here right now. Virtual events is another way of talking. I could say community. Right now, we have a chat going on. Great conversations there. All right. So this is community. So this is what's emerging. This is a reaction to the challenge we find ourselves in. Now, finally, this comes from McKinsey and Company. Look how things have changed again, right? This is very recent. I think this is again early 2023. This graphic comes from. They talk about how we used to do mass media. Think of like advertising, display ads, all that wonderful stuff. Then we went to personalization. That became really, really, really big. Now it's all about influence. Remember influencer marketing we said was really, really big, videos, everything else. And influencer marketing is the community Rev Genius, right? A Rev Room for many of you. That's the era we're in now, where it's all about influence, right? We try to appeal to the community, to engage in the community, to build a relationship with the community, to share content with the community, to use it on video with the community, so that the community then does their influence thing. They say, hey, that guy, that solution, that's cool. I have a problem. Has anybody else used that? And the community validates it or doesn't validate it. Community, that's new-ish. So what do all these things have in common? One, content. Content is still king. Because one of the things I didn't even mention, but you saw on the charts there, SEO hasn't gone away. And the beauty of SEO, again, is it's free. If I make some killer content and it's highly optimized and someone does an organic search, they find me. No cost. Content is huge. But content is also a credibility card, right? It's whether it's video content or a blog or an ebook, it's about adding value, not adding a pitch. No one cares about the pitch. And you go in the community, you get shot down quickly if you pitch. There you go. So it's number two. It's they're all cheap, and they're affordable, and done right, they're scalable. And scalable is a tricky one, right? Because we're having layoffs. Our staff count has gone down. We're not hiring, but we're still expected to hit our numbers. But if the economy is down, and we have to hit the numbers that were formulated a year ago, that usually means we have to do more outreach to make up for that gap. So whatever we're doing with our smaller teams and our smaller budgets has to scale to that broader reach. So it has that in common. Thought leadership. Come on, let's look at this right now. Why am I talking to you? I'm hoping you think I'm a smart cookie. You'll talk about me to other people, and that will grow my reach and my influence. Look at that. Thought leadership. It's the same for you, your company, your solution. There's personal brands, there's company brands. Trust. All right. If we have great content, if we're active in the community, if you see me over and over and over again on video, if you see me associated with influencers, you start to trust me. And trust is the first thing we have to overcome in a purchase decision, because I'm not going to spend money and risk my job if I don't trust you. So there we go. Trust. And finally, relationships, right? Because nothing's changed decades later, from pre-white-haired Daryl to current white-haired Daryl. It was always about that word of mouth. The only thing that's changed, that word of mouth now is often virtual. So the first thing we do when we have a problem is we go to our community and we say, I have this problem. How has other people solved it? And they say, well, talk to Daryl. He's got a solution for you. Boom. Relationships, community. That's what they have in common, those 5 things. So you're going to say to me, Daryl, I hear you. And I've been doing a lot of that, but it really hasn't worked for me. I've not had the success. So I hear you, brother. I totally do, but I'm calling BS. Okay, so let's go down that road. Why has it not worked for you? All right, let's talk about that. Issue number 1, and I hear this over and over again. Daryl, the reason it doesn't work for me is my content's not being consumed. No, I put it out there. No one engages. Well, there's a couple of reactions to that. Number 1, over 90% of people on social media, boys and girls, are lurkers. They never engage. It's not just your content they don't engage with. It's everybody's content they don't engage with. They don't like, they don't follow, they just consume, they just take. But you're still influencing them. I cannot tell you how many leads I've had where they say, hey, I've been loving your stuff for years and now I have a problem and maybe you can help me out. And I'm like, who are you? I've never heard of you. I've never seen you. And they're like, oh, I don't comment. I don't have time for that. So your content is being consumed. Don't worry about the vanity metrics of likes and follows and shares. That's number 1. Number 2, though, but maybe there's some truth in that. Maybe your problem is you're not getting any comments or engagement because the content you're making is not memorable. It's not optimized for the medium, right? It's not adding value. It's a pitch. It's an announcement about some new feature that nobody really cares about. You're making a statement with no context. I don't know. It's just boring. That if your content's not being consumed, then that is all legit. Have you looked at yourself? And many marketers will say to me, yeah, I'm probably guilty a little bit with that. And I'm getting influence from other people in the company who say we have to pitch more. I push back, but they make me. Or the people we have speaking really aren't the best speakers. Legit, but you can get around that, or we'll talk about that. Finally, if it's not being consumed, there's a good chance you're not repurposing it, because just remember, one person likes video, but the next person likes ebook, the next person likes illustrations, like an infographic. If you repurpose it, it will get consumed, It's not necessarily in that first format that you made. Issue number two, they'll say to me, Daryl, my audience is not engaging with any of my content. It's like we talked about. It's not being consumed, but they're also not engaging in the comments. All right. That's fine. Like we talked about the lurkers already, but the other part here is, are you actually speaking to your audience? Are you speaking at your audience? If you're speaking to your audience, then they're going to react because that's the basis of a relationship. All right. Next things, you may not be creating anything unique. If I'm doing nothing but repeating what Jared says, which by the way is usually inspired and brilliant. Jared, did I say that right for you? Then they're going to just go, Jared, they're going to ignore me. I'm just going to be a parrot. And who the hell wants to follow a parrot? But if I'm adding unique values and insights and contributions, a different perspective, then that will stop. How I've got around this is I've had a take. In other words, you may love me, you may hate me, but I'm not waffling. I'm not trying to be all things to all people. I mean, this is my opinion, and here's the data that backs it up. And I'm going to be bold, not rude, and I'm going to put it out there. So, and that goes not just for the the content that I post, but that goes for the comments that I contribute in other people's posts as well. And candidly, that latter part where I'm commenting, it's not my posts, it's my comments and other people's posts. You get way more reach, way more engagement. Are you using humor? Are you using compassion? Are you using empathy? You look at Sam Jacobs stuff. Those two little posts I shared. That was empathy. That was legit. That was compassionate. You want to read that. You want to read on to see where he's going with this. Are you doing that? All right. Are you making them think? That if your audience is not engaging, then you're just candidly not being hard hitting enough. All right. I can't create. Notice a capital C there, folks. I can't create enough content fast enough because I'm a small team, and I get that. So the easiest way around that is to the whole hub and spoke concept, where you physically make maybe like a video, whether it be a webinar or a podcast or a live event like this, and then you can transcribe that, and you can outsource it to writers who take that transcription. They can turn it into blog posts or ebooks, or you can do it yourself. But it's fantastic. One piece of content, one core piece of content can be reused multiple times with minimal effort. It's when you're trying to make an always original piece of content that you start to really hit that scalability issue. So hub and spoke will be your savior. Number four, the reason I'm not having any success, Daryl, is because I can't get budget, because you know what? Getting me, well, what's the ROI? And I can't measure the ROI, therefore I'm screwed. ROI, I hate that acronym, but it's true. And it's not unfair of a CFO or an investor to say, what money did we get for return did we get for the investment? I've always had every CFO and every CEO say to me, Daryl, if you have success, I'm definitely going to give you more money. Like, yes, you've got $10,000 a month now for pay-per-click, and I know you think you need more, but you show me a $15,000 return or a $20,000 return on that $10,000 a month, and I'm going to just give you money like there's no tomorrow. It's going to be raining money. And they're not wrong. Why would I not spend more money where I'm getting a net positive return? Of course I am. Challenge is measuring is hard. Some channels we can measure. Pay-per-click is a good example of that, right? It's just built into Google. It's nice and easy. Some channels you need to start measuring. Social media, which by the way, you saw the use of social media and content, which is on social media, and DMs. You can measure social media, but too many of you, like way too many of you, are not. Instead, what you say is, well, I got a lot of likes and I got a couple extra followers. Ergo, I must be rocking. And probably like 10% of the revenue this month was because of all those likes and follows I got. And you know what happens? The bean counters say, bullshit. You can't attribute it, then it doesn't happen. It's too wishy-washy. And they're not wrong. It is wishy-washy. However, this simple thing called a UTM code, a UTM parameter, campaign, medium, source, and it's built into many of the social media tools out there, will do it for you. All you need is a standard UTM framework, which any good marketer should have anyway. And then instead of linking to your video or linking to an event, you put on your UTM parameters. And now I can tell you, oh yeah, this person signed up because they saw our post on Facebook targeting this, from this campaign. Boom, you can measure it. Now you can actually say, I spent $5,000 this month on Facebook ads, and this is the ROI it resulted in. Start measuring it. It's a failure on your part if you don't measure it. Some channels you can't measure. Word of mouth. I mentioned word of mouth. That's called another way of thinking. That's dark social. Yeah, I just can't measure it. If someone heard about me on this event today and they go to my website directly, type it in, boom.com, how can I attribute that back to where I saw this, which was at this event, all right, at RevCon 2023? You can't. And that's where it gets a little more tricky. So how do you handle that? Well, it's pretty straightforward, folks. You strike a deal with the bean counters. You maybe not have thought of that. There's different deals you can do. So deal number one is you can say, hold me accountable for a percentage of my revenue. In other words, 25%, 50% of my revenue of my budget, I cannot show any ROI on. I just can't. That's marketing. But the other 50%, I can. All right. So trade shows, pay-per-click, I can measure that. Dark social, can't measure it. So only hold me accountable for an ROI on a percentage of my budget. Or another way is to say, listen, don't worry about what channel is driving the ROI. Don't worry and say, I want to know how much is actually business, your social media activity drove or your pay-per-click activity drove. Instead, say, I want to know how much is the cost per meeting. If I give you $1 million for the year in budget, if you can get me a sales qualified opportunity all in at $5,000 fully loaded, I don't care where you spend your money. Great compromise. So that's how you can get around that and get more budget. If you come in at $3,000 per sales qualified opportunity, you go back to the well and you say, I'm kicking ass. So that's, you negotiate those things. All right. Number 5, I hear this so often. Nobody wants to host our webinars, our podcasts, our live streams, our videos. The people who do want to do it suck. They suck. I get it. I just told you to be engaging, be personal, have a take. And yet we got nobody in-house who wants to be that person, right? They don't want to be like me waving my hands around. They don't want to be loud. They don't want to do any of that stuff. So what do? Well, what you do is you have to identify a multitude of experts, right? It could be product marketers. It could be sales engineers. It could be executives. You want to have a whole bunch of different people. You want to force them to do it. You want to coach them. And so it's the way it works. Incentivize them like you would a sales rep. You make so much content, you get so much reach, I'm going to give you money, like a bonus, variable compensation, all right? Gamify it, do employee advocacy, put those links out to the whole company. Whoever top 3 employees get the most reach, get a bonus. They get a $25, $50, $100 Amazon gift card. And by the way, when you're doing that, what you're really seeing is who are the hidden nuggets I never even thought of. It was Susie in QA. That's a wallflower. That is dynamite on LinkedIn. Who knew? I'll give her the $100 gift certificate, and then I'm going to go to her directly and say, can we get you doing a lot more stuff for us? So that's the way to do it. But here's the thing that's going to rock your world. You need to hire for this role. It's not enough to hire a good marketer. You need to hire a good marketer who can present, who's comfortable on video, who's comfortable having to take, who knows the medium, social media, who is a good writer, who's a good storyteller. All those soft skills you've not been hiring for, you need to hire for it. End of story. And this is the part that's going to give you the biggest nightmare, marketers. If nobody else does it, it's you. You are the creator. It's your job. Step up, own it. I didn't do this until I needed to do this. I wasn't always this way. That's what you do. All right. So what I'm saying is creators, community, and content are converging. And the answer, of course, is yes. Which, of course, is the stuff of nightmares. Why is it the stuff of nightmares? Well, we need to invest in building our personal brands for our employees. But what if the employee leaves? They're going to make them famous, and then they're going to leave. Why would I ever do that? Who cares? You backfill them. Well, we need to become creators and influencers and evangelists. But what if it all falls back on me because no one else wants to do it? Falls back on you. Welcome to marketing. End of story. I wish I had a better story. That's why it's a nightmare. But step up, own it, have fun with it. All right. It's not like you've not learned something new in marketing before. You know you have. Remember, I started off before there was an internet. I had to learn the internet. And then I had to learn a whole bunch of stuff, digital marketing, pay-per-click. That didn't exist. I was doing $30,000 advertisements in magazines with bingo cards. You learn something new all the time. This is something new. It's a skill. That's all it is. Step up. Next one. Well, we need to engage with our tribe, but we have no following. No one's following us. We get no engagement. Well, that's okay. Set the tone. Guys, it's going to take us a year to build a following. And we're going to start at 0. And it's going to be silence for the first 3 months. It's silence for the first 6 months. But by a year, we're going to get traction. You just set the expectations, optimize your profiles, do your outreach. All right. Start having a regular schedule of posting. Be intentional. It doesn't have to be a nightmare. It's just another thing to do. You wrote blogs. Now write posts. Now make a video. It's as simple as that. It's a nightmare because we need to create amazing video content across all these channels. And I don't know how the hell to do that. This is weird. Okay. I'm going to tell you something that's going to rock your world. There's this video channel out there called YouTube. Get video? And it will teach you how to do video. The only thing that's limiting your ability to do this is what's up here in your head. There's nothing stopping you. You know why? Because it could be as simple as this phone right here. That's all you need to get started. Keep it simple. CapCut is free. There's lots of tools out there. Basic editing tools. Just do it. Stop thinking about it. Be a Nike. It's a nightmare because communities require a whole bunch of engagement, and I don't have time for that. And it can be expensive to sponsor. Time block, brothers and sisters. It's just you have time for email, you have time for Slack, you have time to get into the community. It's about you and how you organize your time. And then get there and add that value. Be authentic. All right. It's just, we're expected to pitch, right? What's your elevator pitch? What's your opening spiel? If you can do that, then you can go engage. It's as simple as that. And you don't have to sponsor, just participate. You'll build a reputation, your own personal brand. It's a nightmare because we need to be industry subject matter experts, but I don't know what to talk about. I don't feel like I'm a subject matter expert, and I need to partner with these other influencers, but I don't know them. It's real simple. They hired you because they thought you were good. You're a marketer. You tell stories. If you don't know what to talk about, go find somebody. Bring them onto the video camera and say, George, my buddy, talk to me about this problem. And when you do that enough times, you become incredibly brilliant yourself. All right? That's why podcasters love podcasting, because they talk to all these smart people, and then they just acquire all this knowledge from all these people. Before you know it, you are a rock star on your own. As for the influencers, it's really easy. Just reach out to them and say, hey, will you be at my show? 9 out of 10 will always say yes. And I'm not making this up. They always will. Okay, so we need to conquer the convergence to get rid of this nightmare. You can't just do text posts on social media. You need video, you need humor, you need storytelling. You can't ignore your community and tribe. You got to get in that community. You got to engage. You can't not have creators. You have to become the creator. You need to become that video rock star. Scary, I know. Just deal with it, all right? Educate, help your audience like they are educating and helping you. And turn that content into phenomenal alternative forms of content. Stop looking to everybody else to do this for you. You do it. No budget, minimal staff, huge reach. You will become the influencer. You will be sought out, and you will improve your ROI. My name is Daryl. I am around on a social platform or two. You should follow me. We can carry this conversation on. That's it. Jarrett, my friend, back to you.
Daryl, that was spectacular. You watching these comments over here?
I haven't had a chance because I've been so busy waving my hands around.
People are loving you. Like I even posted a real-time social post to try to leverage the influence in the audience. I would hit you up if you weren't speaking, specifically around that McKinsey slide, which obviously shined community in a great light.
Of course it does.
Oh, this was awesome. So we're gonna make this presentation available to everybody. Get ready for the next session. We're ready to go. Daryl, thank you so much for being here, my friend.
Have a great day, folks. Thanks, Jarrett. Love Rev Genius. RevCon rocks, friends. RevCon rocks.
We're gonna get you speaking at a lot more stuff. Excited for it.